All right. So start now. Hello everyone, and welcome to our National Training Week session. I'm Adib, and I'm delighted to be your host for today's session. We are honored to have our expert trainer, Ms. Carol, who will be sharing valuable insights on Introduction to the Employment Act for HR Personnel, Part 1. During the session, please feel free to ask questions in the chat box below. Ms. Carol will address all questions at the end of the session. As a reminder, please keep your microphones muted throughout the session to avoid any disruptions. Without further ado, I hand over the floor to Ms. Carol. Ms. Carol?
Yes, I'm here.
All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me clearly? If yes, you please put a thumbs up. Then I know you can hear me. Right. Let me share my screen. Can you all see the screen as well? Can put a thumbs up. Yes. Okay. All right. So before we start, let me just show you the condensed page first. All right. So today the session is going to be part 1 of Employment Act. So in 2 hours, 2 to 4, and then part 2 will be another date. We'll let you know, okay, when it will be conducted. It will be online as well, I hope, okay. And Employment Act is a very big and wide subject, all right. So usually what I used to do is do a training, either online or face-to-face. It's normally either 2 days or 1 day. It's like, 9 to 5 sessions, all right? So since today, we only have 2 hours, so bear in mind, this is a condensed version, all right? So all the essential and major points I do share, but not everything, yeah, because 2 hours is not sufficient to cover everything. But the major ones that HR or even those who are new in HR need to know, I will be covering that. Okay, so in between, there will be some short quiz questions. So I want to ask you some questions, and then I hope you can reply. You put it in the chat, and then there'll be some checklists as well for you to think about what is in your organization. Do you practice the same or not? And then you can put it in the chat as well. So I want to have this session as interactive as possible. All right, so I hope you all take part in some of the activities or questionnaire that we have, right? And there are about 5 or 6 sessions for these 2 hours. So after the first topic is over, you can ask questions, or you can wait until the end. We'll end about 15 minutes earlier before 4 so that you have time for questions, and then I can give you answers. All right? Okay, so first, introduction about myself. So I'm a corporate trainer. I do a lot of training, mainly for human resource personnel, but I do for other participants as well, covering management topics, sometimes human resource topics, and safety and health as well, right? So I've been doing this for about 8 years now. Before that, I was working in corporate companies as a human resource personnel for 20 years, or more than 20 years, okay? So my last position was as a HR manager in a logistics company. It was a MNC, all right? So that's where I gained all my experience through working in different roles and few different industries as well. As for my qualifications, you can see here, and I also took a certificate in personnel management. Those days, long time ago, it's called personnel management. So now it's changed to HR management. Okay, so this certification covered, of course, Employment Act, and we had to learn it for over a few days. So as I mentioned, Employment Act is a wide area to cover, so it actually requires many days. Okay, but not to worry. Today we have a condensed version of the main points, and then you can ask me questions later, right? Okay, so contents will be this one: Introduction to Employment Act, contracts of service, payment of wages, deduction from wages, employment of women, and some of the recent amendments to EA, which I'll share overall. What are the changes for the whole of EA? Some parts, details will be shared in the next part too. Okay, but here I'm sharing all the recent amendments in a summarized version, right? Okay, before we, what are the learning objectives? So why are we learning this today? Why are you here? Of course, you need to be, if you are in HR or even a management or supervisory role, it is essential to know one of the most important act when it comes to dealing with employees. It is Employment Act, right? So you need to know what is stated in the act so that you can implement it in your organization. Right. And then you get a deep understanding of the responsibilities that you have to your employees. All right. And then what you can do positively in your organization. Because whenever you follow all these rules and regulations, whatever stated in the act, so eventually the whole organization will have a positive change. Because anything that the act says normally is beneficial to both employer and employee. Right? Okay, so let's just get to know you quickly. Your names are already there. Okay, just want to get a feel of who is here. You can type it in the chat. What do you do and how many years have you been in HR role? HR specifically, yeah. Maybe you work somewhere else as some other role, so you don't need to include. So I just want to get a feel how many years you've been in HR or months. Could be months as well. Can just take a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, put it in your chat. One putting in there? I don't see anything. You all are still there? Okay, I see some messages coming. All right, admin manager 1 year, Chiyong. Okay. HR administrator 6 years. Keep it coming, just another 1 or 2 minutes, then we'll move on. If we move on, you can still type it in, yeah? So later we'll come back to check. Okay, 3 years plus. Nur Maisara, 1 year, okay. Okay, keep it coming. So I'll move on. Later, we'll come back to check, yeah? Okay, so we have a few participants who are from different background and different years of service in HRO. So it's good to know we have a good mix. Inshira, admin for 1 year. Okay. Some roles may be admin, but you may be taking on HR role, right? So it's good that you are here. Okay, let's move on. So our first topic is Introduction to Employment Act 1955. So this is an overview what the Act is all about, right? So what is the purpose purpose for various stakeholders. Stakeholders are the people who need to be concerned about this act. So I break it down here into three, right? First is employee, then HR function. I put HR function because some companies, they do have admin or even a PA who's taking on the HR function, right? And third one is for organization as a whole. So for employee, of course, is a good protection for the employee in terms of being fair at the workplace and safe. Okay, a lot of clauses later you'll see that it provides safety guards for the employee. As for HR, of course, you can use whatever is in the act as to enforce discipline. Okay, the act says this, easy for you to implement. You don't have to come up with it on your own, right? And then define what employer and employee are responsible for. You can pick out some information from the act itself and provide guidelines to introduce your own rules and regulations. So for example, if the act says, okay, you need to give 45 hours per week work, then you know, okay, your rules and regulations, you need to give that or less. You can't go more than that. So it gives you a good guideline, right? An overall organization is similar to HR function, but as a whole, of course, compliance is very important. Otherwise, if the employee brings the matter up to Labor Department or Industrial Relations Department, then there'll be penalty for the organization to pay. There'll be fine, right? So need to know about whatever is in the act as well. And then secondly, as I mentioned, like HR function is easier for you to implement because everything is spelled out in the act itself. So for you to implement whatever it is, your own rules and regulations, just follow that as a guideline. All right. And then here I just put the EA 120 pages. Okay. As I mentioned, there's a lot to cover there. Right. Okay. So let's go to the definition, which is very important. According to Employment Act, who is the employer? Because not everyone is considered employer, right? So what's the definition? It's an organization. It could be a government agency or institution, professional services firm, whatever, so many names, yeah. Or even non-profit association or small and medium enterprise, we call it SME, or individual. Even an individual who employs a person who is called an employee. So how do we determine further? Further definition is given where the employer controls the manner of work of another person or hours of work. So employer says, now you must work 9 to 5. And then how you must work, you must come to the office, you must sit at this desk. These are the equipment we're giving to you, and these are the persons that you need to work with, and these are the things you need to do. Everything is spelled out. So this is part of a definition of employer. Employer is providing all this to the employee. Okay. So one by one later you can go through this, yeah, on your own. I just summarized it, yeah. And duties and obligation, of course, you provide work. There are some employers who don't provide work, you'll be surprised, yeah. Okay. And pay the employee. Observe health and safety regulations. Give employees a reasonable opportunity to have complaints looked at. Provide adequate facilities in terms of computer, stationaries, telephone, a desk, and all that. Provide instruction, training, information, supervision. These four are different, yeah? So I spelled out for here. Instruction, training, information, supervision. This is very important, especially when it comes to even new employees, when you want to confirm them after probation. All these need to be looked into, okay? So what is instructions meaning? Tell them, okay, now you sit at this desk, you need to be 9 to 5, you need to type out letters, you need to make phone calls, you need to send out emails. So that will be instructions. Training, now they need to send out emails or type letters, you need to train them how to do it, who to address to, how the letter format is. All this, you need to train them. So I'm just giving simple example. So it applies to all job scope. How about information? You need to give a list of email addresses. Who are they going to email to? Okay, this is the list. And where to find papers for the letter to print out? Okay, this is where it is. All right. How to print out? Where is the printer? This is where the printer is. How to get the ink? Get the ink from the admin. So this is information. All right. And lastly, supervision. Supervision is you need to ensure that they are doing the right thing. Yeah, this applies to even confirmed workers, but more so for new workers who are under probation. You need to supervise them. Hey, I asked you to send 3 letters to 3 persons by today. Have they done it? Did they type out the email correctly? Was the email address typed out correctly? Was it received by the recipient? Did they make a phone call to ensure they received it? And so on and so forth. Supervision. Okay? So instruction, training, information, supervision, all 4 go in hand. Either one is missing, there's something wrong somewhere, then the employee may be blur, what we call blur, to know what's going on, to know what to do, right? Okay, next. So now we come to employee. Employee definition. An individual who works part-time or full-time under contract of employment, whether oral or written, express, implied, also called, you can call worker as well, right? So same thing, let's go to the further definition. Same thing as what employer, where he receives work from the organization or individual, he's given a desk, given telephone, computer, tools and materials, and instruction and all that, then his definition is employee. And he's supposed to work, let's say 9 to 5, Mondays to Fridays. Okay, definition of employee. And of course, at the end of the month, he's given a salary. Okay, right. So duties and obligation of employee, be loyal, because you already signed contract with that company. Don't go and work for another company on the same day. Or do the job that he is paid to do the best of his ability. Okay, let's say you're going to send out 3 emails by today. Do it. All right. Apply knowledge and skills to meet the objectives, whatever objectives set by the company, and adhere to the signed contract. So you sign a contract, you say, I work from 9 to 5. If you come in at 10 and leave at 4, then you're not adhering to the signed contract. Okay, so all this is not in place. Of course, employer can take action against the employee. These are just basic, there can be more, but I just summarize the basic major things that employer and employee need to have, the obligations, right? Then we come to categories of employees. There are many categories. First could be full-time, could be if the company is working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, then the full-time employee works that hours, all right? Whereas part-time, they have different terms of hours work. Holidays, leave, sick day, rest day, all are different. Today, I'm not covering that because for part-time employee, there's a separate regulation. Okay, but they are covered under the Employment Act. But in terms of this, the one I put in bracket, the regulations is in part-time regulations. That's another one. Okay, you need to refer to that. So basically, it's 70% of work they do, then they are considered part-time. Meaning full-time work 45 hours. 70% of the 45 hours, if they work 70% or less, then they are considered part-time. Then you need to refer to the part-time regulations. Then we have next one, temporary. Temporary would be someone you hire just for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Then we have contract. Contract could be someone you hire for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. You don't need the person long-term. Maybe it's a project you have The project will complete in 2 years, so you need that person only for 2 years, right? Then we have foreign workers, whoever employed, all covered under the Employment Act, right? And lastly, apprentice. Apprentice are persons you hire, usually in an organization where they need manual work. This apprentice is someone who is in a technical college or vocational college, learning sometimes maybe to sew clothes, repair cars, repair computers, do some electrical work, plumbing work, and all those things. And then if a company hires them as an apprentice to work in the organization for a limited period of time, then they are also covered under Employment Act with some exclusions. See the below. There are some exclusions. We'll cover that later. Yeah. So when it comes to one more that you normally hear is intern. When you hire intern, it's similar to apprentice, but intern don't do manual work, right? Considered not vocational work. Intern normally maybe they are learning management or even human resource or could be engineering, whatever. Then they need to do internship in a company. Maybe they are hired for 6 months, 3 months. They are not employee. That's why it's not here. You don't see it here. Intern are not employee. Okay, so intern not covered under any act. Is up to the company and up to the intern to agree on what would be their compensation, if any. Okay. So scope of the act, let's say the scope, yeah. So now EA, short form for Employment Act, yeah. We always say EA. EA covers all kinds of employees. As long as you see the definition, I say employee. So all employees are covered under the Employment Act, regardless of their position or their salary or wages. Okay, previously there were some distinctions. Only if their wages certain amount, then they're covered, or if they are manual labor, then they are covered for certain things. So now no more. No need to differentiate all this. All right. Except for below, you see the red one. Except for these subsections you see below. I will go to the next slide. There's information there. So if you have employee whose wages exceed 4,000 a month, the following clauses do not apply. Other than that, all applies. So what are the clauses? Let's find out. So I've also given you below, if you see the box, is it's a clause from the Employment Act. Yeah, so for you to refer to. Ideally, all of you should have the latest Employment Act by now, but sometimes it's difficult to understand sometimes the terms, legal terms they use. That's why you're attending courses like this, webinars like this, where I can clarify for you, all right? But in any way, if you're stuck, if you're not sure, it's still good to understand the Employment Act. So ideally, you should have the Employment Act book. So if you go to the first schedule, then you'll find these clauses there, right? So these are the exclusions. Basically, these are all overtime, yeah? From 1 to 5 is all talking about overtime. 1, 2, 4, 5 is talking about overtime. Number 3 is talking about shift work for those who do shift work, like usually security guard, they work 12 hours a day, all right? So this one for 4,000 and below doesn't apply, okay? 4,000 and above, sorry. 4,000 and above doesn't apply. So last one, termination, layoff, and retirement benefits. So all this does not apply to them, meaning if the salary is 4,001, wages is 4,001 per month, then if they're going to claim overtime, you don't have to approve the overtime. That's what it means, right? And shift work hours, you don't have to follow what is stated in the Employment Act. You can do your own shift work hours. And then if you're going to retrench them, under clause 60J, if you're going to retrench them, you don't have to pay any benefits. According to the Act, yeah, I'm talking about all according to the Act, right? So that's what it means. So those who are earning 4,000 and below, all this applies. You need to pay them overtime as well. Shift work hours, follow the rules, retrenchment benefits you need to pay. Okay, that's an overview about Employment Act. Then we'll go into the subsections. Any questions so far? Okay, no questions. I will move on. Okay, no questions. Maybe you can ask later. Right. So next we go to contracts of service. What are contracts of service? So we shall discuss two things. So some people get confused. So that's why I put both here. Contract for service on the left, and then contract for service on the right. Okay. So what's the difference? Let's find out. So contract for of service basically means the employment letter that you give to the employee. Okay, it could be term employment letter, offer letter, contract letter, whatever. But in legal terms, according to the Act, it's called contract of service. That's basically it. Okay, so it could be expressed or implied, meaning it could be verbally said. All right, employer said verbally, I want to give you this, work 9 to 5 and all that. Also applicable. Okay, contract of service. And the contract of service shall specify the wage period as not exceeding 1 month. Okay, so meaning every time you pay them, it has to be for 1 month. If you state it in the contract, you're going to pay 2,000 ringgit, it must be for 1 month. That's what it means, right? And then the second paragraph, you see, the contract of service shall not contain any condition that restricts the employee to join union. Okay, previously there has been cases where employee want to join union, the employer will be very angry, discourage them, say you cannot join or isolate them and all this. So that's why the clause is there. Huh? Right. So union can be in-house union or external union. They should be allowed to join if they want to. Okay. And this one, now we come to contract for service, means you engage some other company or individual to do work for you on an ad hoc basis. Usually ad hoc, or could be on a weekly basis. Example, you will have office cleaner. You will engage a company. Okay, you provide me cleaner, come in every day, 2 hours, then I pay you a fee. So the cleaner who is in your company cleaning up is not your employee, right? It's not your employee because you contracted them. So you gave the company of the cleaner contract for service. It could be renovation also. Sometimes you have renovation 1 month in your office. So the contractor will come in every day to do the work. So are they your employee? No. Because you given their boss contract for service. So that's the difference, yeah? Okay. And this one is important to take note. Section 7 of the Employment Act. Term less favorable than the EA shall be void. What does it mean? So whatever you put in your contract letter, employment letter to the employee, ideally must follow what is in the Employment Act. If you don't follow, let's say you give something not favorable. Let's say, example, Employment Act says you must give 8 days of annual leave per year, but then your letter you give 6 days annual leave. So this clause means the 6 days is void because it's less favorable to the employee. 8 days is more favorable. So regardless, they sign also is not legal. Okay, it's void. So they just follow back what is in the Employment Act, which is 8. Okay. And the opposite way, if let's say the Employment Act says 8 days, and your company give you give the employee 10 days, which is 10 is more favorable to the employee, then they follow the contract which says 10 days. Don't go back to Employment Act 8, cannot. Because you already give more, cannot take back. But if you give less than Employment Act, is wrong. You need to follow the Employment Act. Okay, basically this clause says that. Okay, and then this provision you must put in the employment contract. 4 weeks notice if employed for less than 2 years. 6 weeks for 2 years but less than 5 years, and 8 weeks if employed for more than 5 years. So this one in terms of resignation. If they want to resign, or the company says, you need to leave, we're going to terminate you for whatever reasons. Later we'll cover that, yeah. So then this shall apply. So ideally you put down weeks, follow the Employment Act in your contract letter. So it's not confusing, because some company I know they put months. 1 month, 2 months, 1.5 months. So ideally follow exactly, and it's easier to calculate compared to month, because some months got 31, some month 30 days, some 28 days. I've seen a lot of HR get confused. Okay, just follow exactly. Then this one, section 13(1) and 2 says, if you're going to terminate someone without notice. Okay, so the notice is there already, 4 weeks. Now you're not going to give notice. So you need to pay notice in lieu. So this long sentence, it means notice in lieu. Okay, so either party can say, hey, I need to give 4 weeks notice, but I don't want to work 4 weeks. So I pay you the amount for 4 weeks equivalent to the wages. So either party, yeah, same. Employer says, you resign 4 weeks notice, you don't need to come to work. The 4 weeks pay, I will pay you. Notice in lieu. So same thing, employee says, I give 4 weeks notice, but I cannot work for 4 weeks. Now I pay you 4 weeks wages. Employee has to pay the company, right? Both ways, yeah? Section 13(1) and 2. Next, contract of service may be terminated for special reasons such as misconduct. Okay, of course, someone who has committed misconduct or maybe stole from the company, you don't want to keep them, right? And of course, you need to do here what it says, due inquiry, or what we call domestic inquiry, right? After that, you may dismiss without notice, downgrade the employee. Maybe now they are officer level. You say, okay, I downgrade you to assistant level or supervisor level or just a clerk level, you know. C, impose any other lesser punishment, or you can suspend without wages for a period not more than 2 weeks. Okay, so this is all contained in section 14, and 81C, if you refer, is pertaining to sexual harassment. Okay, so again, after due inquiry, if you found that the person is guilty of harassing someone, then you can give either one of these punishment as well. Next, termination of contract, again for special reasons. 14, for inquiry under subsection. So this one need to be read together with the previous one, yeah? Previous one says, after due inquiry, right? So this one is during inquiry. Okay, so now you're going to do inquiry for the employee. So, and then you don't want them to be in the company because sometimes they may mess up the investigation or they may cause more problems. So you say, hey, you don't come to work until you need to show up for the domestic inquiry. So you can suspend the employee for 2 weeks and then pay half his wages for such period. 2 weeks suspend, don't come to work, but you may need to pay half, means you're paying 1 week. All right. And then last, the second clause, you see, If the inquiry does not disclose any misconduct, after domestic inquiry, you say not guilty. Then, now you need to give back the half wages that you took from him, you need to pay back. Okay, that's what it says here, section 14. Continue of special reason. This one, employee themselves can say, hey, I don't want to work here anymore. Resign. Because the place is dangerous. It could be, there could be violence. Maybe some people are violent, want to beat him up, or threatening to harm him in any way. Or maybe he found that, hey, got virus, bacteria in the company is spreading, and then the company is not doing anything about it, right? So employee can say, I resign, don't want to work here anymore. Then the company cannot take action against the employee. But of course, he need to have valid reasons, maybe with proof as well. Like violence, he could have lodged a police report. As for disease, he could have gone and check with the health ministry or hospital. Okay, there must be some evidence or proof, not just simply say, oh, he decided his own opinion and then resigned. Okay, yeah, must be valid reasons. But all those information details not in the EA, yeah? Only this one is given. So all those depending on the circumstances and the reports made. Okay, next clause says, if the employee absents himself 2 days, didn't turn up for work without any application for leave, so then he's considered as terminated. Meaning, he doesn't want to work there anymore. On the 3rd day, he didn't show up. Then the employer can say, hey, he's no longer our employee. But you see the last 3rd paragraph there. There must be reasonable excuse for such as absence. Maybe he attempted to call the employer, notify, give valid reason why he disappeared 2 days. So the employer need to consider as well. So 2 days if employee goes missing, the employer must be proactive before the employee attempts to call or what, find out, call him or her. If the phone is not reachable, call the next of kin. Yeah, when you get personal details from the employee, you must have next of kin. It could be parents, could be children, could be spouse, brother, sister, anyone. So you can call another person to find out, hey, what happened? 2 days he didn't turn up. Okay, that person also say don't know or didn't pick up. What can you do? Anyone knows? Consider resign, terminated. Can put it in the chat. What would you do if there's no response, call also didn't pick up, abscond, disappeared? Everyone's still thinking. Okay. The best thing to do is have black and white. That you, as a company, attempted to call him. 𝐂𝐨𝐦𝐻𝐥𝐢𝐦𝐻𝐥 says send termination letter. No, don't do that. Yeah. So why not? Because even if you don't pick up, you still need black and white to show that you attempted to call him. Otherwise, calling, you can say, I called, then there's no record whether he picked up or not. Okay? So send a letter of show cause first. Show cause letter. Surat tunjuk sebab. Ask him, hey, 2 days you disappeared. Please contact the HR department by when. Tell us what happened to you and when are you reporting back to work. Yeah, send to his house. So wait until the date you give him. Maybe 3 days, 5 days. Normally I will give 5 days. Because the post by the time it reach and then he open, it will take time. Or could be 7 days or so. Right? Then on the 7th day, what I used to do is I will send another letter. Why I do this? To safeguard the company, say that we attempted so many times to contact him. I'll send another letter to say that, hey, we have not got response from you. If you don't contact the company by which date, I'll give another date, then we'll consider that you have resigned. So we consider they resign, not terminate. Yeah? We don't terminate. Company don't terminate because he himself didn't turn up. So we don't have to terminate actually. Right? So just consider that you don't turn up, consider that you resign. That's it. And your last day shall be on this day. Finish. All right? Then you calculate his last salary. Can? Okay, next. Okay, next one, I put there probation. Yeah, just now we talked about probation, right? So probation is not stated in EA. Okay, so employee on probation is actually undergoing a trial period to evaluate their suitability for permanent employment. So in terms of all the clauses in EA, it's applicable even to probationer, all right? Except for when you say they will be confirmed after so and so months, maybe 3 months, 6 months. That clause is not in EA, but you can put in the contract letter to the employee can, right? But other clauses like leave, again, you can say after confirmation only give leave, can. But other things all applicable to the employee, right? So usually it's specified in the contract letter, including the notice period. You can give lesser notice period is fine. Remember, just now we saw 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. So now you can say 2 weeks can. All right, even though they are not, they are employee but not confirmed. And at the end of the confirmation period, if they are not confirmed, what can you do if you don't want to confirm them? 3 months. Anyone? As I mentioned, it's not in the EA. So ideally, you give another extra time, another 3 months to evaluate, review them. After review, evaluate, then you can say, hey, you are not suitable, you are not fit to work here, then we are not confirming you. Again, it's not termination, it's non-confirmation. So it happened, just to share, in my previous company, this happened. There was one person we employed in our warehouse division. So he was executive, all right? So we gave him 3 months probation only. And then we do appraisal, review, and all documented. After the 3rd month, sit down with the manager and myself, we said, he's still not up to mark. Doesn't meet our expectation. And then what we do is we extended another 3 months just to give him chance to improve. And during these 3 months, he's given training, on the job training, more information, guidance, and so on. All these are recorded. Why? Because later we don't want any problems from the authorities to say that we simply terminate. So after the 6 months, evaluate again. I sit down with the manager and him, he said, sorry, you still didn't improve. We are not going to confirm you. Okay? And few days later, I got a love letter from Labor Department to come to Labor Office to discuss the matter of termination of this employee. He went to complain to Labor Department to say that we simply terminated him. So I had to go with all the documentation. Just now I said you must have documentation and give another 3 months, ideally lah, if possible. Yeah, I always try to do that. Give another 3 months. So I showed all the documentation. I say we keep him for 6 months. Don't tell me we're going to keep him again with all this record of poor performance. Then the labor officer agreed with me and then dismissed the case. See. Okay, so that's my experience. So that's why, and now any participants I see, I always advise to do that. All right, so our case is strong. We don't have to keeping the employee who cannot learn or not up to mark. Why should we? Right? Okay. So that's on probation. Next, we talk about apprentice. So a contract for apprentice shall be for minimum period of 6 months, maximum 24 months. So this is a changes. Previously, it was company have to take apprentice for 24 months. Cannot be less. So now it's revised to 6 months and can be up to 24 months, right? Exclusion, section 10 to 16, again, this is on retrenchment benefits and overtime. All right, and all clauses on termination. Whatever to do with termination doesn't apply for apprentice. So for more details, go and look into this section, 10 to 16. Okay? All right, so now it's short quiz time for you. Got 2 questions here I want you to answer in your chat. Apart from contract, yeah, we talked about contract, right? Contract of service. Is there anything else required to be given to an employee before they commence work? We give contract, what else? And next, if something is not stated in the EA 1955 or Amendment 2022, where can you find the information? Like there's now probation, I said, right? It's not in EA. Okay, so things like that is not in EA. Where else can you find the information? Maybe you already know. You can give the answers below in the chat. We'll give about 2 minutes. Just now I gave some answers already, some of the answers. 1 more minute. Anyone? It's okay, we are learning here. If it's wrong answer, it's also fine. We are all here learning, right? All right. Chi-Yong says company policy. MIHRM and labor office. Okay, very good. For number 1 is company policy. Number 2, MIHRM labor office. Okay. Good. Let's hear from another person. One more minute, half more minute. Okay. All right. Orientation and company's handbook. Very good, Sherry. Okay. So let me just give my input as well. Keep it coming, your points. So first one is apart from contract, because everything you can't put into contract, right? There's so many things. So the best thing is to have the employee handbook or company policy, whatever name you want to have. All right. So that they can refer to it. So at the end of your contract, you should state that whatever is not outlined in this contract of service, please refer to the employee handbook. All right. So for me, additionally, I will put whatever not stated here, refer to employee handbook and labor law. Okay, I will say labor law. Why labor law? I don't put Employment Act, yeah. Why? Because there's so many other acts cover things about employees, not only Employment Act. There's Trade Unions Act, there's Industrial Relations Act, there's now I said the Part-Time Workers Regulations, Occupational Safety and Health Act, there's so many. So I'll just put labor laws, whatever related to labor or employee. Okay, because we can't cover everything. Okay, there's one more input from Caroline. If we as contract workers, it is entitled to get the handbook policy, because some company didn't give the handbook so that the contract worker will not know the benefit. Okay. So contract worker means you are employed for, is it 1 or 2 years, 1 year? When you say contract worker, Caroline? Okay, so Caroline's still typing. Okay, so for contract workers, just now I mentioned category of employee. If you're employee, you're under the category contract employee is employee already. So everything should apply to you under the Employment Act, but not necessary employee handbook. Because employee handbook can have extra things which is not in the act. Let's say insurance you're providing or additional leave, could be a bonus, all those you can put employee handbook, which is additional benefit you want to give to the employee, right? So let's say you're taking a contract worker 1 or 2 years, then you don't want to give this, it's fine. But whatever in the Employment Act you have to follow, or whichever act you have to follow, but not necessarily what is employee handbook. Employee handbook, you can say is only for full-time employee. Okay. All right, it's not wrong. Okay, so does that answer your question? Hopefully it does. Right. So Sherry says orientation. Yeah, orientation is important as well, because if you have employee handbook you gave, sometimes they really don't understand. So you need to have orientation session to brief them what it is all about. Then they can ask questions as well, right? So orientation is important. So number 2, second question, if something not stated in the EA, yes, you can call labor office to check. Or the best is if you are aware of the cases, industrial court cases. That's the best. There's a lot of cases. Later, I'll share 1 or 2 cases with you. A lot of cases that you can refer. Once it's awarded, you can refer to it. So how the court decides which one is correct, which one is wrong, which one can do or not. Most of the time, it's not in any of the act. But that's what we call is practice or legal as in terms of law. Okay, so the best is find the case. Hey, I have this issue in my company. Okay, let's go and find out, is there a case in the industrial court that was awarded? If it's there, then you see how the judge come to a conclusion and whether the case was dismissed, guilty or not. So that would be the best, all right? Of course, you can call MIHRM if you are a member, or you can call MEF also, Malaysian Employers Federation, if your company is a member. They have a team of industrial relations lawyer who can advise you as well, right? So get all covered, everything covered, ready before you even take action against the employee. Okay, next. Message. Let me just check any new message. Okay, none. All right, so this is the one case I want to share with you on non-confirmation termination. All right, so we talked about probationer, right? As I said, it's not in the Employment Act, but it's in the case, industrial relations court case. Okay, so summary, the case is quite long. I have the PDF copy as well. It was recently awarded only on 19 September. It's between the company name Give Southeast Asia Sdn Bhd versus the employee is Neo Ying Ting. So I'll just give a summary. Yeah? Neo Ying Ting was employed as a personal assistant, PA, okay, for the company. And then she was given 3 months probation to assess her suitability and performance. So after 3 months, they found that, yeah, she's still not up to mark. So they further give another 3 months, extended her probation, all right? Then they do some assessment and all that. They found that she has difficulty in producing ideas, even while speaking or even writing. She has difficulty writing. And some of the tasks she couldn't do. She don't know how to do, even after so many training. All right. So at the end of 6 months, she was non-confirmation. She said, sorry, company say we cannot confirm you. Then why is the case there? Because the employee went to file a case. So this matter was referred to court already. Okay. And then after deliberation, the judge came to a conclusion. You see the second paragraph. The company says her performance is not up to mark. So during a probation, the company found that she didn't meet the expectation of the company. Thereby, the company has the right to non-confirm her or terminate. Then the case was dismissed. The employee lost. Okay? So similar to the case I mentioned earlier that when I went, it stopped at Labor Department. It was not even referred to Industrial Court. But this one already referred, I don't know why. Sometimes you go to different labor officer, they may refer the case, right? So this one went to court. So again, you see, if given ample supervision, mentoring, maybe coaching, training, whatever, all this you need to document, then you don't worry. Employee take you to court, they can't do much, right? Okay, this is just a quote for you to digest. Okay, we go to the next part, payment of wages. Some of it we touch under contract as well, but there's additional information here as well. You see the top right-hand corner, minimum wage. I put it separately because, again, this one is not in the EA. It is in the minimum wage order. It's another document to refer, right? But it needs to be read in conjunction with EA, okay? Because here it says, what is the minimum wage payable? 1,005 per month, all right? Okay, what are wages now? So we talk about wages. Whenever we use anything for employee, even later on, you're going to calculate anything for them, like retrenchment benefits, overtime, whatever. Always use the term wages, not salary. Because salary is only one part of wages. Wages encompass what? You see here? It's fixed allowances, whatever allowances you're going to give them every month. Fixed allowances, paid leave. Another word is annual leave encashment. We use that word, right? Or areas of wages. Maybe you gave them increment in January, but the approval came late. So for February, you're going to give them an areas of the increment for January. Okay. And income tax paid by employer. Some company for a manager or even CEO, they may pay the income tax for the employee. So the income tax paid is part of the wages. Okay, right. The next clause, you see, every employer shall pay each employee not later than the 7th day after the last day of any wage period. So let's say a company pays you on the 25th of every month. So that's the last day of which is 25th. So the latest, let's say company having problem to pay wages, the latest is 7 days after 25th. So if it's this month is September, only 30 days. So it will be 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, first, second. By 2nd October must pay. That's the last. Right? That's what it means here. Last one, next paragraph. Advances. If sometimes festival time, they may say, hey, I want advance salary. So you can say, okay, Deepavali coming next month. I want salary by September for Deepavali. Because Deepavali end of next month. So let's say their wages is 2,000. You can give them advance 2,000, but not more than that. Cannot give 2,100. Yeah, that's what it means here. Shall not exceed. Why this is so? Because to safeguard the employee. Because if you give more, then you have to keep deducting. October deduct, November deduct, December deduct. Then at the end, they'll be crying, no money for food. Okay. And this section, what does it say? So this one is a new one added in. Because previously in the EA, it will say that you must pay employee in legal tender. Legal tender means cash. Because Employment Act came out in 1957, 55, even before Merdeka, right? So that time, most of the people were paid in cash. Yeah, I did that one time as well. We used to have foreign workers. We pay them less than 1,000 per month. So look, take out a lot of cash, calculate, put in an envelope and pay them cash. All right? So previously, EA Act must pay legal tender cash. Other than that, you must get consent from employee. So now they revised it because most of the payment is going through banks. Okay? So they revised the term, they put their financial institution. Not particularly bank, could be any others, right? Next one. So this one, so long, yeah, I just summarize for you. It means that if employee didn't work the full month, September, maybe you join middle of September or resign middle of September. So you can't give full month salary, you need to prorate. Okay, so prorate, this is the formula. This formula is applicable from the beginning, from 1955, but it was not included in the EA. And then a lot of people get confused. So sometimes they calculate different formula. So for that reason, the authority decided to input it here. Okay, so meaning, let's say September, the person is resigning on the 20th of September, will be last day. So you need to take monthly wages. Let's say you're paying 2,000 per month. You take 2,000 divided by 30 days. September has 30 days. Then times 20, because they work until September 20th. So if the person is resigning or join in October, let's say he joined in on the 2nd of October. So October has 31 days. So how you calculate? You take 2,000 divided by 31 times 30. He worked for 2nd to 31st will be 30 days. Right? So this one is outlining clearly the formula, that's all. Next, here, what does it say here? When employer terminates the contract of service, employee without notice. So employer, just now we talked about this under contract, yeah? So let's say employer says, for whatever reason, like due inquiry, misconduct, you want to terminate the person. You said you don't want them to be there anymore, okay? Suppose you give 4-week notice, you say, I give you 4 weeks notice, pay them in lieu, and then say bye-bye. Don't come to work anymore. So you need to pay on the same day. Same day that you want to leave. Cannot say, hey, you leave today, I'll pay you end of the month. Cannot. Right? That's what it means. Number 2 below, this is the other way around. If the employee terminates his contract, employee say resign, I need to give 4-week notice, but I only give 2 weeks notice. And then there's balance payable by employer. Employer need to pay. Then employer need to pay by the 3rd day of the month. Okay? Or even he serves 4 weeks, full 4 weeks. He serves full 4 weeks and then say, hey, I want my salary, you must wait 3 days only. Cannot say until end of the month. But you can say that, how? I used to do that again, get their consent. Because sometimes they leave on the 20th, last day, our salary payment 25th, 5 days only. But EA says 3 days. So I will ask the consent from the employee, say that I will give acceptance of resignation, say that, okay, we accept your resignation, your last day, and so. We will pay you on the 25th of the month, acknowledge, receive, and agree. If they agree, then I proceed. Most of the time, they will agree. Okay? So that part you can do. Without consent, you have to pay. Okay, next. Here it talks about first one, wages not paid, payable if, let's say, the employee is caught and put up in lockup or prison. Of course, you don't have to pay them. Okay, that's what this clause says. Next clause, it says no deduction of wages can be made other than then for the following. So a lot of these next pages also there are a few. These are the reasons you can deduct from their wages. Other than that, no deduction should be made. Okay. First one, overpayment of wages made within 3 months of the mistake. Let's say you need to pay them 2,000 ringgit. Now you overpaid 2,001 ringgit, 2,100 in September. So by October, November, December, 3 months, you must recover that money, take back the 100 from his following wages. After December, you can't do so anymore. 3 months pass. Forget about it. Bonus for the employee. Okay. Next, second one, you see the indemnity is notice in lieu. If the employee need to pay notice in lieu, you can deduct from his last wages. Next, recovery of advances in wages. Just now we talked about advance. Then you can deduct. Okay. What else? Of course, statutory EPF, so IRB is Inland Revenue Board, yeah, tax, EIS, and so on. You can deduct. Next, the next three you see must have written request from employee, and some of these clause must get approval from DG as well. Who is DG? Director General of Labor. Short form, DG, Director General of Labor. You need to get approval before deduction also. Some you need to get written request from employee and also approval. So for further details, which one need approval, please go to the clause as I mentioned. Go details before you do any deduction, right? So see, written request need for trade union, sometimes they have membership fee. Employee written request for EOS. ESOS is share, company share. Okay, some company, listed company, they issue share, employee can buy, right? Next one, third party on behalf, someone they need to pay maybe a loan or whatever, okay? This is all in section 24. Same, section 24. Payment for purchase of any goods. Maybe the employer is selling furniture. The employee says, I buy the furniture. Then you deduct from my salary. Can, but must write it. Last one, rental for accommodation and the cost of service, food, meals. So if the company is providing hostel, accommodation, and then the rental is paid by the company, you can deduct from the employee to say that we want to cover the cost for rental and maybe some food or meals provided at the accommodation. Okay. All right. Any questions so far before we go to the quiz? Okay, no question. So my question comes then. Okay. An employee whose wages is 1,500 resigns and his last day is on the 15th of May. It's on 2022, yeah? Calculate his wages for May. Can just put your answer there in the chat. Take about 2 minutes. If you all got calculator, can use. Otherwise, use your phone calculator. Hope you all remember what I shared earlier about the formula. Seven two five one eight one. Okay, Chi-Yong says. Let's get a few more answers. All right. Chi-Ying, 725. Cherry also got 725. Anyone else? 725 also any? Okay, good. 725.8 is correct. So you all remember the formula. Okay. Hope everyone else got the same one, yeah? So you divide by 31 because May has 31 days. And then they work until 15th of May times 15 days. That's it. All right. So must go according to month, not 30, not 26, not 22. Okay. Before that, let's look at another case. Okay. Although it says, you see this one constructive dismissal, but it's related to wages. That's why I put it here. It's related to wages. Okay. And look at this, yeah. This court case was done ex parte. Ex parte means one party was absent. Okay, meaning the company was absent. This one. This is a case between Mohammed Abdul Hamid versus United Express Airlines Sdn Bhd. The case was awarded recently, 19 September 2024. All right. So the claimant, Mohammed Abdul Hamid, turned up to the court. The company didn't turn up. Few times they called, they didn't turn up. Why? Let's find out what happened. Okay. The claimant person, yeah, who filed the case in the court was employed as a captain for the airlines, yeah, right? So what he says is when he talked to his superiors, he was promised a certain compensation. But when the letter came to him, it was lower. Yeah, it was supposed to be an increment or promotion exercise, something like that. But it was lower than what was promised. So he went and talked to the superior. Hey, what happened? You promised me this, but now you're giving me low. He went to see 3 persons. And all of them says, oh, we'll check. We'll let you know. Okay? Because it was verbally told to him. But then when the contract came, you see the second paragraph, he accepted with that compensation. And then he worked for further 19.5 months. That's more than 1 year. Huh? More than 1 year, he worked with the salary which he didn't agree with. Okay, what does that mean? Means he already agreed lah. Otherwise, he won't be working 19.5 months, right? So after that, he decided, he said he's not happy, his compensation was not as promised after 19.5 months. Then he decided to resign. So even his resignation letter is stated in the award. The whole letter is nicely worded. Nothing mentioned about the compensation. Nothing mentioned about his unhappiness. He said, very grateful, thank you for guiding me and all those nonsense. And then nothing mentioned about constructive dismissal. But then after he resigned, he went to the labor office, industrial relations office, and claimed constructive dismissal. You all know what is constructive dismissal, right? It means that the company did certain things so that the employee resigned themselves. Few things they didn't agree or didn't do and make the conditions so bad that the employee had to resign. Okay, so the matter went to court. That's what court find out. They say, if constructive dismissal on the spot, you need to walk out actually. Walk out, don't give resignation letter, walk out, go to the IR department, file a complaint. This is what the company doing to me. I want them to correct it and reinstate me as what we promised or give me compensation. But instead, he waited 19.5 months. So the court says, you agreed, you waited so long. Then somehow you resign. So it's not dismissal. Constructive dismissal, you shouldn't send in your resignation letter. Okay, he himself resigned. So he made a mistake. That's why the company didn't bother even to show up in the court. Because they know he won't win. So finally court decided the case was dismissed. So there was no constructive dismissal. It was all done. Nothing was done by the company. Actually, he himself resigned, that's it. And then there's no evidence of what was promised to him because all verbal. He accepted verbal and he was not happy. Okay? So sometimes you get this kind of cases. That's why it's, as I mentioned, it's good to go through cases. Then you know, hey, what happened? What can we do? What, as a company, what can we do? Right? So even I have terminated employee in my company. Sometimes the manager will call me, hey, you terminated, we're scared he might, complain, do that, do this. Then I said, no need to worry. Nothing will happen. Even if he go and complain, he got no case. Because I've read so many cases. I know roughly that we did the right thing, company did the right thing, he got no case. Otherwise, you're not confident. If you don't read through cases, you won't be as confident. Okay? All right, before we go on to the next part, there's a few more questions for you, a lot of questions. You may answer either one of it or all of it. I give you 5 minutes. Choose one or two questions to answer, no need to answer all. What is the appropriate course of action to take if one of your employees does the following? All related to contract of service and payment of wages. 𝐂𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 Okay, Chi-Yong says, ask for explanation and issue warning letter if the explanation is not satisfactory. Yes, good. Explanation in terms of show cause letter, right? Okay, there's a question, where can you read cases from industrial court? Go to the website, industrial court website. They have a separate website. Just go to the website, like the cases I mentioned, award number, then if you put in the award number or the person company name, then only the case will come up. Later, I can put it in the chat. I will put the link later for the industrial court cases. Okay, 2 more minutes. There's 2 persons have answered. Let's find out from the rest of you. What do you think? What would you do? Okay, A.T. Tan says show cause, yes. Training, verbal warning, training, number 2, training, okay. Number 3, verbal warning. 4, 5, 6, show cause, okay. So after show cause is a good for a start. So after show cause, what do we do? Or after training, number 2, what do we do? Supervisor is number, let's just go to, okay, one more person, Nuralisa. Show cause, second, proceed with warning letter, deduction for any loss, performance improvement plan, PIP is good, yes. Warning letter can, show cause, deduction for loss, number 2, is it? Okay, 1 more minute. Then we can discuss together. Okay, any more? Keep it coming. Then we'll just go into quickly discuss this. So number 1, of course, show cause is very good for a start to proceed with understanding why the employee doing this and get a reply in black and white. Yeah. So first one, can we deduct the salary or wages? One, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can wages be deducted? Because they were not working at that time. Think about it, yeah. In some of the cases, yes, can. Because they didn't fulfill the contract of service. Remember, I said duty to employees' duty, adhere to the contract. Contract says you work 9 to 5. Then 9 to 5, you're not there. You came in at 11 to 5. So meaning you didn't work. So it's not called deduction. It's like you didn't work, we're not going to pay you. That's it. For number 1, yeah. Number 3, of course, you can be given verbal reminder, like someone said here. Number 4, absent, you can deduct. Deduct salary, or you say don't pay. Not deduct, don't pay, because didn't work. Can be no pay leave, right? 5, malingering, disappeared already. So again, not fulfilling the contract of service. So what do we do? Find out how long they were missing. Confirm, verify, then only don't pay for the amount. If you got no documentation, cannot confirm, then you cannot take away the wages, right? 6 is the same. 6 is insubordination, no approval, right? Come back to number 2. Number 2, yes, give training, show cause letter, but the supervisor asked payroll department to deduct the cost. Remember, just now we went through what is stated in the EA, what can deduct. This one is not stated. So any damage to property or whatever mistake or negligence they conduct, you cannot deduct from the employee. You can only deduct what was stated. Earlier I went through the list, and this is not there. Yeah. So cannot deduct for any damages to property, equipment, nothing. Okay. Does that answer your questions? Let's move on. This one we've covered. Then we move on to the next one, maternity allowance on the employment of women. Yeah. So this one, the changes is 98 days for maternity leave. Previously was 60 days. So now it's extended to 98 days. And then certain conditions need to be met. First of all, length of service, they must have worked for you not less than 90 days. During the 9 months immediately before confinement. Let's say they're going to confinement or deliver the baby on the, let's say, 30th of September. So from January to September is 9 months, right? So within that 9 months, they must have worked for 90 days at least to entitle for the 98 days maternity allowance. So I call it allowance because even though they don't come to work, they are being paid. Okay. So this is first condition under section 37(1)(b). Second, they must be employed in the company 4 months immediately before confinement. At any time. Even though there's not 90 days got, but still another clause says 4 months immediately before confinement. Meaning June, July, August, September. 4 months between this June, July, August, September, they must be employed. Okay. And why do they have these two clauses? Because employees sometimes they can work from one company to another and then still claim, let's say they resign from this company, they work for a new company, they can claim from the previous company as long as they fulfill this. Or sometimes they can claim partially from the existing company and partially from the previous company. That's why they put in this clause. As long as they fulfill this requirement. Okay. And of course, the entitlement is available unless she has 5 or more surviving children. Already 5, that's it, done. So 1 to go on maternity, of course, the 6th child, you still give 98 days, but no pay leave. They are not entitled for the allowance, right? And last one, they must notify at least 60 days before confinement. So doctor will tell them, okay, estimated confinement, 30th September. So by July, they must tell the company. Ideally, you have a leave application form. They must apply through the leave application form 60 days in advance. Why? Because company have to prepare someone to take over the job. Maybe need to hire a new person and train them. So they need time because 98 days, 3 months over, right? For that reason. And this one, when is commencement? They say they may commence their maternity leave 30 days before. So that's now, if they are delivering on the 30th September, they can start leave from 1st of September. Is considered maternity leave already. Okay. The next clause is absence. If let's say they didn't apply, they just absent, didn't come, then they're not entitled to maternity allowance. Then you consider them as absence. You see the last paragraph, misconduct applicable to them also. they absent, never apply leave, disappeared, you can take action because of misconduct. Okay, next. They can commence leave 14 days in advance. Let's say they want by September 16, want to apply for leave already with the doctor's permission. Doctor give a certificate, oh, they need to rest before delivery, before confinement. Cannot work. Then they may go. All right, that's not 30 days. They apply themselves, also can. This one additional cost if the doctor say they cannot work. Otherwise, they can always start after on the day itself. When they deliver on that day, 98 days starts. Regardless, it's a public holiday, off day, rest day, regardless, yeah? Okay, next, last clause. This one is a bit tricky. Let's say 98 days is over. September 30th delivered, October, November, December didn't come. January, maybe 9th of January, supposed to start work. Still couldn't make it. Doctor said, still not well, cannot work. So the doctor can give until, doctor can give how long, but company must accept up to 90 days. So 9 January supposed to turn up, cannot, another 90 days. February, March, April. You must wait until 8th of April. If they still cannot work, they produce medical certificate. But the 90 days, you don't have to pay. It's just no pay leave. But you have to wait. You cannot say absent. You cannot find replacement. You can find temporary replacement. Okay? So after that, they still don't turn up, then you issue show cause letter like absent. Okay? Before that, cannot do that. It's protected. If they are sick, if they want to take their own leave, then employer has the prerogative say, hey, no need, sorry, you have to come back to work. If you still absent, then we consider you terminate yourself. Or the company say, okay lah, we wait for you. All right? It's up to the company. Clear? That is on maternity allowance. Next one, we go into discrimination. So discrimination clause is section 69F. So discrimination shall apply to pregnant women as well, yeah? That's now we talked about discipline you can take, but you must be very careful because most of the organization try to avoid. And then sometimes the pregnant woman also take advantage. I've seen many, okay? Because you want to avoid, they say, oh, you're discriminating me because I'm pregnant. Then they keep going for doctor's appointment, disappearing. All those will happen. So for that reason, there's another clause you have to be very careful. Even though you want to take action, okay? You shouldn't discriminate. But this discrimination applies to any other discrimination like in terms of race, religion, gender, age, everything. Not only pregnant women, everything, yeah? And then if the DG, Director General, finds that it's a valid offense, got proof, then the company can be fined up to 50,000 ringgit. All right, per case, yeah? And then if the offense continues, still discriminate, then for each day of discrimination, the company can be fined 1,000 each day. All right? All right, so that's all for that section. And then we are moving on to the last part, which is talking about recent amendments. Any questions? Okay, no questions, we move on. So what are the recent amendments? The amendments were done with effect from last year, 1st January 2023. So the EA will have the clause EA 1955 and then amendment 2022. So there's another one document, but now they have combined both. So it's inclusive of amendment done in 2022, and then effective date is 1st January 2023. So these are the major ones. There are some minor ones like penalty, and then some clauses, they have reworded it. All those I don't put in here, okay? Only the major important ones I put in here. Others, as I mentioned, you need to go and read yourself. If you don't understand, can come back and ask me. You can send an email to Exact Academy. If any questions, I can answer. All right? Okay, so the first one, as we went through earlier, first one is on the EA is now covered for all kinds of employees, regardless of the job they do and regardless of the wages, except for this clause, those who are earning 4,000 and above, 4,001 ringgit and above, not entitled for three things: overtime. Second is shift work hours, no need to follow whatever the Act says. And then the third one is no retrenchment benefits. Okay. Number two, contract apprentice is changed to 6 months minimum. Previously was 24 months. Third, wages shall be paid via financial institution. Previously was legal tender. Okay. Next, what else? The formula for calculation of wages according to below. Monthly wages divide by number of days of the month and then times how many days they worked. 5, maternity leave is increased to 98 days. 6, paid sick leave and hospitalization leave are separate. This one we'll discuss in part 2, further details. 7, 7 days paternity leave for male employees are given. Also we'll discuss in part 2. 8 hours of work shall be 45 hours per week. 9, flexible work arrangement. All these also will be discussed in part 2. Okay. So these are the major ones. As I mentioned, the rest are minor or small changes to words. I don't include here. Now here is a checklist for you to ask yourself, and in your organization, do you have all these? And if yes, what do you do about it? Okay. For example, number 1, do you have any employees involved in manual labor? And is it important to know? Are your manual labor employees entitled to overtime? Yes or no? 3, 4, and 5. 5, there are 3 answers for you. Which one is your category? Just for you to take. It's just for your own checklist. You can put the answers here, but it's good for your own checklist. After the session, you go back and say, hey, do I have this? And what's the answer? Am I doing it correctly? You know, it's for your own reflection. For number 3, I would advise that what I used to do for number 3, what I used to advise is those who have overtime 4,000 below, entitled for overtime. 4,001, not entitled. So you can give a different category in your payroll if you're processing payroll. You can put a different category so that that category employee you filter come out must entitle for overtime. It's easier for you. Yeah, maybe you can put officer 2 or executive 1 example so that you know, oh, this one entitled, right? Number 4, we're talking about contract workers, yeah, meaning employees. Independent contractor, I'm talking about employees. I have a few more questions on the next page. Just look at this first. Any questions you can ask me. Then we'll go on to the next page. Okay, I go to the next page. Does your organization deduct employees' wages for any of the below situations? A checklist for you to think and analyze. And then go through the Employment Act. That's now I gave the list. Which one can deduct is in the Employment Act. Go through. Hey, are you following what the Act says? Previously in my company, one of the case we had, the company mistakenly bills the employee need to bill the customer, okay, but they always make wrong billing, and then there'll be a short payment, meaning the client may be supposed to pay 50,000, but the bill went out 45,000. So the company will be short of 5,000. So every time they'll come to me, this employee did that, deduct from the salary, or it could be few hundred ringgit, deduct from the salary. Then I will tell them, no, sorry, cannot do. Mistake, negligence, all these you can't deduct from the salary. Yeah, imagine you keep doing that. In the end, employee don't have anything to eat with it. The one should be show cause letter, training, supervision, all those need to be given. So I say you still insist on taking from the employee, you have a separate agreement with them so that they don't repeat, but in the payroll, I cannot deduct because we cannot show deduction for any mistakes or even damages to company property. Okay, so we've come to the end of our session, all right? So this is for you to do some reflection. So normally at the end of all my programs, I will show this. The first one is luggage. What new knowledge will you take with you today? So hopefully you learn something new. You can put it in the chat what you learn new things. Maybe you never heard of this before. All right. And then how will you use your new knowledge? Whatever training you attend, webinar, seminar, whatever, you have obtained new knowledge. Of course, you need to implement that. Otherwise, what's the point, right? Or you can ask someone who is going to implement, you can relay the message to them, right? Next, third one, guess what resources or support do you need? What else do you need? Do you need some, maybe you need to attend more training programs, I don't know, or need to buy the book, the Employment Act book, or need to get more information from somewhere, you know? So you need to think about it. Where else, right? And lastly, exhaust. It's an analogy of a car. Okay. What are you leaving behind? So whatever you did maybe is inaccurate or not according to what the Act says, all right? Or it hasn't been fruitful. Okay, so this is for your own reflection, what you're going to do. Think about it. If you want to share, you can share in the chat section. Okay, 𝐂𝐸𝐦𝐻 says, yeah, you have the reference from IC. Okay, good. All right. So next steps, take action. What you need to do? Any other question and answer you have? Put it in the chat. Whatever we've discussed today, there are 4 or 5 main points we discussed. Any questions you have? While you're thinking of the questions, let me stop this first. Let me get the link for you, yeah, for the industrial court. Wow, their link is so long. There's a question. I think I put the link there. I think once you click, you will go to the industrial court website, right? And the full awards are already stated, shown there. Okay, I gave you the link. Everyone can refer to that. Okay, there's a question for the rest day and PH times 2 times 3. If the employee work 2 hours, we need to pay 1 day. For below 4 hours, pay half day. 4 to 8 hours, pay 1 day. Okay, this is OT rate, yeah. In part 2, I'll be sharing more details, but just to give you a brief, rest day is usually Sunday. So Sunday is like, if they work 4 hours and below, you pay half day. Okay, if they work more than 4 hours, then you pay full day rate. So public holiday, if they work no matter how many hours, you pay 1 day rate. 1 times 2. There's a formula there. So a lot of formula I need to show. I think in part 2, I will have more details to show you. Because rest day, public holiday, hourly rate is considered for those who are working during normal working hours. Let's say the company working 9 to 5, then during that time, on a Sunday, during 9 to 5, if they are asked to work, then the rate is different. If they are asked to work after 5, the rate is different. Same with public holiday. Okay, so come next webinar. Then there'll be more explanation. Soon. Okay. So keep the question coming. So I just share with you the case one of the award. So when you go to the industrial court, the award will be like this. So the one I shared with you earlier, this is 𝐂𝐤𝐦𝐻𝐦 versus GIFT Southeast Asia Sdn Bhd. All right. So there's a lot to read. So earlier I summarized for you. And here also they will refer to other cases. They will give the case number, year, even, the court also decides based on previous cases and what was awarded by other courts or judges. So they refer to other cases here. So you're not only reading one case, you have so many different cases for reference. So that's the good part here. See, they have reference on other cases. Okay, this one short one, some cases very long. This one only 12 page. So I read all already. Some is too long, then you need to scan through very fast. Okay. Okay, there's another question coming in. If their working hours is 7.5 per day, so half day will be 3, right? Not 4 hours. Okay, it depends on the OT calculation formula. Okay, the formula would be OT formula would be divide by 7.5. Okay, let me see whether I can share quickly with you. The formula would be the easiest to refer to. Let me just check quickly. So that I give the correct information. Okay, I have it here. Just okay, you see this? Okay, calculation formula must follow this, yeah? You take the ORP, ordinary rate of pay, divide by 26. This is the formula given, yeah? Cannot change this number. Divide by number of days, hours in a day. So if 7.5, you put divide by 7.5. If you work 9 to 6, then it's 8 hours minus lunch hour, yeah? So if you work 9 to 5:30, then it's 7.5 hours, divide by 7.5 hours. Then times rate. Rate will be here. 1.5, 2, 3. Then number of hours worked. So it won't be 3.75, yeah? It won't be that. Okay? This is for the days. Just now was for hours. This is for the days. For the days one, the less than 4 hours, more than 4 hours, calculation will be this. ORP divided by 26 times rate is 1/2 or 2. Then number of days work, no longer hours already. This is daily rate calculation. Okay, so we have about 6 more minutes. So keep the questions coming. Then I can answer until we sign off at 4. If no questions, maybe somebody want to share on this reflection if you have done. What is your next step? I think there's no other questions. Everyone is expert already. Okay. If no other questions, I hope you gain some information today and then that you can use at your workplace. It's been nice having all of you here today. You've been very responsive, interactive. That's good. So it's not so boring, yeah? So I keep asking some questions for you to put into the chat as well. Because we are online, we can't see you. So this is only one way of interacting. Then I hope to see you all in the next round of our webinar session. Okay, you're welcome. So we can sign off.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Carol, for the excellent presentation. Now, regarding for your certificates, we are pleased to inform you that your attendance has been recorded and your course status will be marked as completed after this session. You will receive your e-certificate through the NTW portal upon successful completion of the TEE assessment. The certificate can be generated from the applied course section of your individual profile. As for the video recording of this session, it will be available on our YouTube channel at Cell Academy Malaysia by tomorrow. As the continuation of the session, we are excited to inform you that the part 2 for the introduction of To Employment Act will be held online on 17th of October. You can register through the NTW portal to save your spot. My colleague will share the registration link in the chat box. Before we end the session, let us take a look at the public training offered where we focus more on IT and digital marketing courses. As for now, we do not have any public training for HR topics, but if you are interested to learn more, we could conduct in-house training for your company. Alright, let me inform you now about our upcoming training sessions. If you are interested in enrolling in one of these courses, please contact us. We have Microsoft Excel basic level, Microsoft Excel intermediate and advanced level, Microsoft Excel data analytics and visualization, Microsoft Power BI data analysis and dashboard reporting, introduction to AI tools, ChatGPT and AI tools, Canva design bootcamp, CapCut for video marketing, digital marketing masterclass, digital marketing professional, social media marketing, SEO and SEM. All right. Thank you all for your participation and have a great day. Once again, thank you, Miss Carol.
Okay, bye everyone.